The July 28th, 2026 regular planning commission is called to order. The time is 6:07 p.m. Before we begin, commissioners, please put away cell phones. If you have personal business during the meeting, please move for a recess. If you are participating telephonically, please mute your phone unless you are speaking. Also, when speaking, please state your name for those streaming the meeting. As a reminder to all attendees, this meeting is being streamed live. The camera is located in the back of the council chambers above the clock. Will the planning clerk please call the roll?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Stafford?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner DeYoung?
Here.
Commissioner Langell?
Here.
Commissioner Seals, you do have a quorum with Commissioner Stafford, Brown, DeYoung, and Langell in the chambers.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Brown, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. First item of business is approval of the agenda. Before changes are discussed, are there conflicts of interest to declare? Hearing none, are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing no changes to the agenda will stand as presented unless objection is raised. Next on the agenda is reports. Acting City Planner, do we have a report?
Thank you, Chair. We just have one item, and that is last night at the City Council, we had the third of 3 hearings for the rezone of some property located at the corner of Fern and Knick, and that was denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a report from our city attorney tonight?
No report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public participation. Public participation is a time for public to comment on any matter except agenda items that are scheduled for public, legislative, or quasi-judicial hearings. So we are now at persons to be heard, a time for members of the public to share their views with the Planning Commission. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken into advisement by the commission or administration. Anyone wishing to step forward may do so at this time.
But there's no dialogue. I was hoping that this would be in your packet. Well, I just had. But I can't answer the questions. Well, what's the point? Okay. Let me get my own. What do you want? Oh, sorry.
Welcome. Please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet. When you are finished, state your name for the record and you have 5 minutes to speak.
Get the glasses out so I can see what's wrong.
Take your time.
Mike. Got it. I'll go get it. Mike.
Turn on my mic.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, well, I was hoping to have some dialogue. As you see from what I've shown you, that this is what I'm dealing with. And the question that I have that you cannot answer is why this is permissible in residential areas within city limits. The construction dumpster that is used as a garbage can and this junk vehicle that is right up against my property. And in the city limits, not only one of these is allowed, but 3 of them. So I can't understand why that this would be allowed. How does that elevate personal or property values in a residential area? We have 2 houses that are across the street from us that are selling or on the market for $750,000. Now, I can't imagine, I know I wouldn't pay that kind of money for a house in a neighborhood that has this stuff in it. So that is why I'm here, to request something be done about this, to protect property values in residential areas. This is the only property that is like that in our development, which is, it's a nice development. I mean, it's, average, but still. So that's kind of what I have to say.
Well, I can refer you to code compliance and the planning office.
Actually, I've been there. So that's how I know that this is within code. It's right here,
Yeah.
and this as well. So that does not help me, because I want that changed. I don't think that any of those should be allowed in a residential area within the city limits. So how do I get some response from that?
I would go to a city council meeting coming up.
I just talked about that. So that's where to start, not in here in the planning department.
Well,
Planning commission.
we're not really supposed to have dialogue, but I can tell you this much. Making this known at the planning commission is not on deaf ears. It's just right now, all I can do is refer you to another avenue.
Okay. I
But
can
thank
do
you.
that. Well, thanks for your time,
No, thank you for your time.
and take a look at this. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? With no one wishing to speak, the next agenda item of business is approval of the minutes. With no minutes to approve, we move to new business. We are now at new business. With no items under legislative recommendation actions, we move to quasi-judicial hearings. Pursuant to resolution serial number 2604 and Wasilla Municipal Code 16.115.040, the Wasilla Planning Commission affirms and adopts a policy allowing public oral argument and comment during quasi-judicial hearings, regardless of whether written comments have been submitted in accordance with the resolution serial number 2608. Members of the public may provide oral comment or argument for up to 5 minutes. Next on the agenda is quasi-judicial hearing. Will the planning clerk please read the agenda item under quasi-judicial hearings?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. The first item that we have under quasi-judicial hearings this evening is conditional use permit 26-03. The applicant is Peter Houston with Denali Family Services. And the request is for consideration of the development of an approximately 21,700 square foot outpatient youth behavioral health facility. The total lot area for the proposal is approximately 3.44 acres, and the location is at 600 North Lucille Street, Wasilla, Alaska 99654, and the current zoning is commercial.
Thank you. Will the city planner please provide a report?
Thank you, Chair. We're very excited about this project. The whole team at Denali Family Services has been very collaborative. They've provided all the information we've asked. We've had several meetings with all departments, including finance and public works. So it's very comprehensive, all the research that we've done. And now I would like to introduce our credentialed contract planner to give the findings so you can have all the information necessary for tonight's hearing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Crystal. So I will do a little bit of skipping around for the findings here. So first I'll start off with the staff recommendation. The staff recommends approval of the request with conditions based on findings of compliance with applicable criteria established in section 16.95.020 of the Wasilla Municipal Code. Moving on to page 6 of the packet, section E. Public services and facilities are or will be prior to occupancy adequate to serve the proposed use and structure. Starting on paragraph with discussions. Discussions regarding discharge limits indicate that the proposed additional wastewater flow can be accommodated by the existing system. The facility has not experienced compliance issues associated with monitoring well data, suggesting adequate treatment and disposal capacity is available. The Public Works Department will provide written utility capacity verification prior to construction. And the last part. Oh.
Page 3 of the permit. Okay.
So moving on to the last bit here, the applicant has agreed to develop a pedestrian walkway along the southern property boundary on the north side of West Nelson Avenue. Condition F, considering harmony in scale, bulk, coverage, and density, generation of traffic, the nature and intensity of the proposed use, and other relevant effects, the proposal will not cause undue harmful effect upon desirable neighborhood character. And that brings me to page 4. Public Works has identified planned transportation improvements that are expected to address traffic flow concerns in the vicinity of the project. North Lucille Street between Parks Highway and Nelson Avenue is scheduled for improvements through a Metropolitan Planning Organization project within the next 2 years, which aligns with the anticipated project development timeframe. Additionally, Nelson Avenue is identified for future roadway improvements, including widening shoulders and measures intended to improve traffic operations along the corridor from North Lucille Street past the West Graybark Drive intersection. These planned improvements are expected to increase roadway functionality and accommodate future traffic demand in the area. Moving down to condition G. The proposal will not be unduly detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the surrounding area or the city as a whole. The project will be subject to future site plan review, building permits, engineering review for utilities, and all required inspections to ensure compliance with applicable building, fire, and life-saving codes. With these requirements and conditions in place, the proposal is not anticipated to be unduly detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the surrounding area or the city as a whole. Moving to condition H. The proposal does or will comply with the applicable regulations and conditions specified in the title for such use. According to WMC 16.65.015, the building is estimated to be approximately 33 feet in height, which is under the 35-foot limit. Setbacks are shown on the site plan, but the measurements are not. Condition I, the proposal is not contrary to the applicable land use goals and the objectives of the comprehensive plan. I have various areas of written support here based on the goals, objectives, and actions. So for goal 1, I have the support here. The proposed outpatient behavioral health facility expands access to healthcare and professional services within Wasilla and reinforces the city's role as a regional service center. The facility provides needed behavioral health services while creating employment opportunities and supporting community well-being. In support of objective 1.1, The facility provides an important healthcare service that supports Wausilla's position as a regional destination for professional and community services. Residents are able to access behavioral health services locally rather than traveling elsewhere in the region. For support for Objective 1.2, the project contributes to economic diversification by expanding healthcare-related services and employment opportunities. With approximately 35 employees, the facility adds professional, administrative, and healthcare positions to the local economy. For land use goal number 2, support, although not a retail use, an outpatient behavioral health facility functions as a commercial service use that serves residents throughout the Mat-Su region. The facility supports Wausilla's role as a regional center for healthcare, professional services, and employment. Following section 4 recommendations are the conditions for approval. 1, the applicant shall resolve all comments and concerns raised by reviewing agencies to the satisfaction of those agencies. 2, the applicant shall have successful application and approval of all required utility permits. 3, the applicant must obtain a letter from the Central Mat-Su Fire Department Fire Marshal for certificate of approval indicating that the development conforms to the current CMSFD adopted building and fire codes. 4, the applicant shall obtain approval for all permits required for driveway construction. Driveway design and access improvements shall be approved by the City Public Works Director prior to construction. 5, the applicant shall submit a complete site plan for city review and approval prior to construction. 6, all exterior lighting shall comply with Title 16 and shall be directed downward to minimize glare onto adjacent properties and public rights-of-way. 7, landscaping shall be installed in accordance with the approved landscape plan as stated in the permit application. And final, 8, all drainage improvements shall be reviewed by and approved through the city's Public Works Department and shall not adversely impact adjoining properties or public infrastructure.
Thank you. Now, would the applicant like to speak on the application for conditional use permit 2603? Please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet. When you are finished, please state your name for the record. You will have 15 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for your time and for the thorough review of our application. My name is J.J. Harrier, Director of Development and Communications for Denali Family Services, and with me is Pete Houston, our Director of Operations. We're here tonight seeking approval for our conditional use permit, new outpatient behavioral health center we've named the Wonderland Project, located at the corner of Nelson and Lucille. More importantly, we're here because the need for youth behavioral health services in the Mat-Su Valley has never been greater. As we all know, the Mat-Su Valley is one of Alaska's fastest growing regions, but the behavioral health system for children has not kept pace. According to the 2025 Mat-Su Community Health Needs Assessment put out by the Mat-Su Health Foundation, behavioral health concerns among youth have nearly tripled in less than a decade, with 23% of households reporting concerns. Families face long wait times, often more than 6 months for Medicaid recipients. In 2024 alone, 367 Mat-Su children were removed from their homes and entered foster care. Provider shortages continue to strain the system. Families struggle with transportation, childcare, housing, and access to behavioral health services. At Denali Family Services, we see those statistics every day. We currently serve approximately 70 to 80 youth annually in the Mat-Su Valley. Nearly half of those youth begin their journey through our therapeutic foster care program. During portions of 2025, we were forced to turn away nearly 10 referrals each week because we simply don't have the clinical capacity or foster homes to serve them. Every referral represents a child in crisis. These are children struggling to remain in school, stay safely at home, avoid hospitalization, and build healthy futures. For 31 years, Denali Family Services has been providing a full continuum of community-based outpatient behavioral health services for youth, including therapy, psychiatric services, case management, therapeutic foster care, early childhood behavioral health, school and community-based treatment, and transitional services for older youth. Our goal is to provide the right level of care at the right time, helping children remain safely with their families and in their home communities whenever possible, supporting foster families and reducing the need for hospitalization, residential treatment, often which is an out-of-state placement. We've been serving the Mat-Su Valley for 24 years. We've been at our building right across the street for the last 19 years. That is a rented facility. Our mission has always been simple: keep children close to home, keep families together whenever safely possible, provide treatment in the least restrictive setting possible. Simply put, we've outgrown the building we're in. Our current 12,000 square foot leased office houses 24 staff and is at capacity. This rented space lacks adequate therapy rooms, sensory rooms, and space to expand psychiatric and outpatient services. Despite averaging more than 11% annual growth, we've reached the physical limits of what our current facility can support. The Wonderland project changes that and will allow us to increase staffing capacity by approximately 60%, serve more than 150 youth and families total annually, nearly doubling our current impact, expand our therapeutic foster care program, expand early childhood behavioral health services, and create a modern, trauma-informed environment designed specifically for children and families. I also want to clarify what this building is. This is not a residential treatment center, an emergency psychiatric facility, or a hospital. Instead, families come for scheduled appointments, children receive therapy, parents receive support, foster parents receive training, then families go home. Because services are appointment-based, traffic is spread throughout the day rather than concentrated during peak hours, a conclusion also reflected in the city's staff report. Behavioral health is public safety. Every child who receives treatment before reaching a crisis is one less child likely to need law enforcement intervention, emergency room care, child protection involvement, or placement in a more restrictive setting. Early intervention creates stronger families, healthier schools, safer neighborhoods, and lower long-term costs for taxpayers. This project also represents a significant investment in Wasilla, approximately 25 to 35 new professional healthcare jobs, a $16 to $20 million private investment in the community, local construction jobs, and additional economic activity for surrounding businesses. Planning staff also concluded this project supports Wasilla's comprehensive plan by expanding healthcare services, diversifying employment opportunities, and strengthening Wasilla's role as the regional center for professional services. So far, we've received letters of support from the Mat-Su Health Foundation, the Mat-Su Borough, the Alaska Behavioral Health Association, and every member of the Mat-Su Legislative Delegation. Commissioners, buildings don't change communities. What happens inside them does. Every therapy session, every foster parent trained, every family kept together, every child who receives help before reaching a crisis, those are the outcomes this building will make possible. The planning department has determined that our proposal is compatible with the zoning district, surrounding land uses, transportation network, utilities, and the city's long-term vision for Wasilla. We respectfully ask for your approval tonight. Thank you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We'll be bringing you back up, so we'll do questions at that time. Public comments portion of the public hearing is now open for application for conditional use permit 2603. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to step forward may do so at this time. With no public comments, the public comment portion of the public hearing is closed. Does the applicant have anything else to address? Now, may I have a motion adopting the findings and conditions recommended in the staff report to approve the permit or approve it with conditions, and direct the planner to draft a written decision reflecting the commission's findings for commission's approval?
Commissioner Stafford, I move approval of CU26-03 and all the other stuff you said.
Commissioner DeYoung, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Stafford and seconded by Commissioner DeYoung. Is there any discussion by the commission?
I'll make a quick comment. I see this as an investment in public safety. I work in the correctional system, and almost every inmate story starts with, well, when I was a kid.
Yep.
So this is why I'm going to be voting in favor.
I do have a question. Do you think that this will ever, do you have enough acreage or whatever to make some part of this a live-in eventually, or?
At this time, oh, do I need to come up here so it's on the record?
You're welcome to.
At this time, Denali Family Services doesn't have any plans to provide residential services or anything of that nature, or like our own staff foster homes, or anything is still outside of the scope of our development plans. So I wouldn't envision it.
Yeah.
I have other ideas for some of that.
Well, I'm wondering if you guys are, I mean, I'm sure you partner with somebody that, because it needs to stay in state. I'm just curious what, and then do you guys just take Medicaid or do you take private insurance?
Both.
Okay.
But
Those were my questions. I was just curious.
Could I have you state your name
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry.
record?
Pete Houston, I'm the Director of Operations for Denali Family Services.
Sure, let's go.
I just wanted to compliment this group on a beautiful building. It will be dress up downtown, and it could be almost a focal point for additional building. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? With no further discussion, will the planning clerk please read the Wasilla Municipal Code 16.95.020 and have each commissioner share their findings for the record?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. The first, so we have WMC conditional use criteria A through I that we're just gonna have each commissioner review for the record, so.
Hang on. We're at a point where we don't
We
need
don't need
this,
that
sorry.
anymore?
It's a new item, so
I think
I just.
generally speaking, if you're not, when you incorporate and find the findings of the staff and recommendations of the staff, it's not necessary for you to go through each criteria because the commissioners are stating that but that is in your script because often either you're not incorporating the recommendations of the staff or you're not sure the discussions of the commission. So you just went through the discussions, right? And in that moment, what I heard from the discussions is just sort of support for the incorporation of those findings. If you had heard comments from commissioners that suggest that they disagree with those findings, then into that and trigger that.
It's something new, so I just.
I'm just
I
trying
was
to keep it
moving
as
on.
easy and as streamlined as possible. So so you don't need to go through that. You certainly can, but I don't think you need to go through each of those criteria again, given where the
Thank you.
commission
As
appears.
soon as we got into it, I'm like, wait, time out. So we have a motion on the floor to approve. Call for a roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Stafford,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals.
Yes.
By a unanimous vote, a motion to direct the staff to draft a resolution approving the staff findings and conditions of approval, approving the conditional use permit 2603 is approved.
Thank you. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no, you're gonna have to stay for the rest of this.
The fun stuff is next.
Thank you,
Thank-
guys.
Thank you. Will the planning clerk please read the agenda item next under quasi-judicial hearings?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. The next item we have for public hearing is conditional use permit 26-04. The applicant is Scott Jones, with SAJJ Inc., KJ Enterprises LLC. The request is for consideration of the development of an approximately 11,144 square foot convenience store and gas station. The total lot area for the proposed development is approximately 5.94 acres. And the location is at 1451 West Parks Highway and 1450 and 1400 West Nicola Avenue, Wasilla, Alaska 99654. The current zoning is commercial.
Thank you. Will the city planner please provide a report?
Thank you, Chair. Again, we want to really thank the entire team that has continued to keep us in the loop. It was some time ago that they came to the city and just with a vision of what they wanted to do, and we've continued to work with them step by step on what we needed to have, and they met all those deadlines. So we're very excited to put this before you tonight. I would like to introduce Stephanie Queen. She is a contract planner for the city of Wasilla. She's got extensive experience in projects that have DOT or some relationship with access through DOT. And so I'm going to have her give the report of the findings. Again, we've worked with Public Works and Finance and the entire team at the city of Wasilla to make sure that you have all the facts necessary to make this ruling. Stephanie?
Thank you, Ms. Nygaard. Good evening, Chairman and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Stephanie Queen, and I'll be providing an overview of the staff report on behalf of the Planning Department. Before you this evening is a conditional use permit, CU26-04, on behalf of KG Enterprises LLC, requesting approval to develop an approximately 11,144 square foot convenience store and gas station on 3 commercially zoned parcels located on West Parks Highway and West Nicola Avenue. The combined site encompasses, as you heard the clerk mention, approximately 5.94 acres, and as I mentioned, extends from the highway up to West Nicola. Because the proposed commercial building exceeds the 10,000 square foot threshold established in the commercial zoning district, a conditional use permit is required. We evaluated the application against each of the conditional use permit criteria contained in Wasilla Municipal Code 16.95.020. Overall, found that the proposal was compatible with the purpose of the commercial zoning district, compatible with surrounding land uses, is adequately served by public infrastructure, and is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Therefore, based on our review, staff recommends approval of the request subject to the proposed conditions of approval included in your packet. The staff report includes detailed staff findings supporting each of those conditional use permit review criteria, and I'd be happy to go through those individually, or if there's questions on any particular one, I'd be happy to address that after I wrap up my prepared brief remarks. We did receive agency review comments from the Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities. DOT indicated that the applicant must continue working through their traffic impact analysis process with the DOT's right-of-way and traffic safety sections to determine if any necessary access improvements or mitigation are required. And because the project accesses the Parks Highway, they'll have to obtain the required highway access approval, sometimes referred to as an approach road review or commonly referred to as a driveway permit. Even though there is an existing driveway to the highway, they'll have to achieve that and get that approval from the Department of Transportation before they proceed. Since these are separate state regulatory requirements that apply independent of the city's conditional use permit review, we mentioned them in the report, but we chose not to propose them as conditions on approval because those approvals will be administered directly by DOT and they are mandatory regardless of the commission's actions tonight. We also received 2 public comments expressing concern primarily about the proposed driveway, the second secondary proposed driveway connection to West Nicola Avenue. The commenters were concerned that additional access could increase traffic on their street, which they described it as being primarily residential. There was also concern expressed about existing speeding and limited pedestrian facilities on that road. One commenter also questioned whether the project satisfies several of the conditional use permit criteria related to neighborhood compatibility and impacts. I discussed these concerns directly with the city's Deputy Public Works Director. The city's Public Works Department advised that this secondary access serves a very important transportation function. Rather than requiring vehicles needing to make a left turn directly onto the Park Highway from the existing driveway, the Nicola Avenue connection will provide alternate routes and allow them to use nearby signalized intersections, providing additional means of entering and exit the site also for fire and EMS vehicles. This was another benefit of that secondary driveway that the Public Works Department noted. So we carefully considered those concerns raised regarding the traffic as part of our evaluation of the conditional use permit criteria. And after reviewing the application and consulting with that department, we consider the site's location within an established commercial corridor and the transportation function of that additional access. We continue to find that the proposal satisfies the applicable criteria for approval. Based on these findings contained in the staff report, we do recommend approval of conditional use permit CU26-04, subject to the 5 conditions outlined in the staff report. I'll briefly just read those onto the record. The recommended conditions of approval number 1 is to ensure that all required permits under WMC Title 13, Water and Sewer, and WMC Title 12, Driveway Permits, have been applied for and issued by the city prior to issuance of the land use permit. Second proposed condition of approval, ensure that the first 40 feet of the aisles and driveways adjacent to the paved roadways are paved or have a concrete or other durable surface approved by the planner. Number 3, provide a revised site plan identifying the location for intended snow storage with an area of 25 square feet per each parking space. Number 4, ensure all necessary sign permits are applied for and issued prior to constructing any commercial signage on the property. And lastly, verify that the area marked for existing vegetation to remain along West Nicola Avenue property frontage, in that area that sufficient number of healthy trees exist to satisfy the buffer landscaping standard. To be counted, these trees must meet the general standards of WMC 16.80.025B and be located on the property, not within the right-of-way. Provide a revised site plan verifying this. If supplemental planting is required to achieve the intended average of 1 tree per 10 feet of lineal frontage, show on a revised site plan where additional new plantings will be. And that concludes my overview of the staff report, so I'd be happy to stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question. Commissioner Brown, just for clarification for everybody, Commissioner Brown, could you cover condition F, staff finding?
Sure, through the chair, the question is if I could repeat the findings into the record.
For F consideration, number F.
Considering the harmony and scale, bulk coverage, density, and generation of traffic is what he's referring to.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, yeah. So condition criteria number F requires that a conditional use be in harmony with the scale, bulk, coverage, and density, as well as generation of traffic, and other relevant factors, and that it not cause harmful or undue effects upon desirable neighborhood character. The staff found that this criterion is met. The proposed gas station is in harmony with the scale, bulk, coverage, and density of the surrounding commercial development in the area. Like neighboring properties along the West Parks Highway frontage, it's anticipated that a majority of the traffic to and from the site will be generated from the highway itself, though I did mention the important secondary transportation function of that driveway off of West Nicola Avenue to allow vehicles to turn essentially left during heavy traffic times onto the highway by accessing other adjacent roadway networks. Additionally, topographic lines on the Matsu Borough mapper show that there's about a 30-foot change in elevation from West Nicola, which is bits higher than the highway frontage. So that provides a bit of visual separation from the neighborhood that's north of West Nicola and those residences from the structure that'll be built itself. There's also greater setbacks and visual buffering to the properties of the north because the proposed building occupies less than 5% of the approximately 5.94 acre site. They leave a substantial area of the site closest to West Nicola as undeveloped. So for those reasons, we felt that the bulk, scale, and coverage was in harmony with the surrounding commercial development along the highway, but also with the surrounding neighborhood more generally.
Thank you.
Chairman. Commissioner Langill, to the contract planner. This is for a gas station. I always have a fear of gas stations because throughout the valley over the decades, we've had a lot of problems with fuel spillage and property runt. What type of permitting is required for these storage tanks or the tanks? I mean, is it DOT? Is it EPA? Who oversees?
Department of Environmental Conservation, ADC, file it all through.
And so that will be done? All that permitting?
To Commissioner Langell through the chair, that is a condition that we can add as part of the approval of this land use permit.
Thank you.
Would the applicant owner like to speak on the application for conditional use permit 2604? Please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet when you are finished.
Good evening. Go ahead and push that button. Good evening. Thanks for your consideration. I think it's been pretty well described, but just real quickly, I'm Scott Jones, architect for Valley Country Store and also Prism Construction. We also, so we have the general contractor here, we have the owners, and we also have Dan Steiner, who's our civil engineer. And thank you, Stephanie. I think that outlined things pretty well, but just to reiterate, we do have a traffic impact analysis started with as a requirement for the DOT that is just getting going, but it's in the works. Currently, as you guys know, there's no development of the lot. It's a vacant lot. And yes, we have the elevation change from Nicola, but in addition to that, there's a tree buffer there that we fully intend to respect and keep to increase that separation, if you will. So thank you, and look
There
forward
may
to
be
your
some questions, so I may have you back up.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. The public comments portion of the public hearing is now open for application for conditional use permit 2604. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to step forward may do so at this time. Oops. Please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet when you're finished. Please state your name for the record. You will have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Bliss. I currently reside on Nicola, and I have serious concerns for this development. I appreciate the progress. However, the speed limit on Nicola is currently 35 miles an hour. I can tell you 25 miles an hour.
It's 25.
Yeah, it's 25. And I can tell you from personal experience, very many people do not follow that speed limit. I walk my dog frequently on this road and I also ride my bike, as do my husband and I. And I can tell you several times I've had to go into the ditch because people were driving 45, 50, 55 miles an hour. My greater concern is that there's multiple residents on the street and there are little children. I am very concerned for these little school children, and I am really concerned that somebody's going to be gravely injured with the increase in traffic, especially with the access on Nicola. Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair, since she's a resident, can I ask, is that a bus route? Is Nicola a bus route?
Yes.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? With no other public comments, the public comment portion of the public hearing is closed. Does the applicant have anything else to address? I don't think he hears. Does the applicant have anything else to address? Welcome. Please put your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet. When you're finished, please state your name for the record. You will have five minutes. Wait a minute, we're 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Matt Gitline. I am one of the owners of KG Enterprises Valley Country Store, and just feel like I should introduce ourselves and let you know a little bit about our background and what our plans are here. So we are all lifelong Alaska residents, born and raised in Wasilla, and grew up here, plan to live here the rest of our lives, do business here the rest of our lives. And just feel that this is a needed convenience. It's a convenience store. We feel that end of town really could use our services for gas, convenience, grocery, fuel, all of it. And we're very excited about it. And I guess that's all.
Thank you.
Is the question permitted? Is the question permitted?
Yes.
Are your future plans, will it remain just I'll call it a grocery store, or future, are you looking at a liquor store or any other changes like that?
We are additionally looking for liquor at this location, yes. We currently have a license applied for through AMCO. It's sitting in their stack of licenses to be processed, so.
Thank you. So it will be included in this project?
It is included in here, yes. If you look at the plans, it's all drawn in there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, may I have a motion adopting the findings and conditions recommended in the staff report to approve the permit or to approve it with conditions and direct the planner to draft a written decision reflecting the commission's findings for the commission's approval?
Commissioner Stafford, I move approval of CU 26-04. Yeah.
Commissioner DeYoung, I second it with conditions.
Is there any discussion by the commission?
I would like to make 2 amendments, adding conditions. The one would be close permitting and working with ADEC and any other government agency for those fuel storage tanks. And I don't know how to address the liquor store. It's not in this proposal, and that's troubling to me.
Commissioner DeYoung through the chair, I was excited about this till I'm really disappointed there's gonna be a liquor store because I don't think we need another one. It's in a residential neighborhood. And my condition would be a sidewalk. Between the city and this project, they need a sidewalk. I drive that road every single day and it needs a sidewalk.
And I also live in the neighborhood. The traffic has gotten more and more vehicles on that street because of it's one way to go through to get to the credit union and other businesses down
And the
there.
car wash and all the other.
Yeah, and people are now coming down the street next to the dental offices
Mhm.
to get away from traffic. And I just am very concerned with the additional traffic this is going to cause. And I don't know how to
I think a
address that.
sidewalk would help. I think a sidewalk would be the answer tremendously.
Commissioner Stafford, though, we can't ask them to build a sidewalk for the entire length of the road.
No, I'm talking from the lot 5 down to Lucas. The city can take care of the rest of it.
All the way down to Lucas?
Well, it's not that far. It's in front of the dental office.
Why would it be their obligation as a private business to build a public
I
sidewalk?
don't have to vote for it then, do I?
No, I'm just saying, I mean,
that would
maybe
be the
we
right
can talk
thing to
the
do.
length of the frontage they
Why are we
own.
asking this project to put a sidewalk in and we're not asking this one? I'm just curious.
I think
This isn't a place where you see a lot of pedestrian
And
traffic.
there's a lot of pedestrians on this
Yes.
road too.
Okay.
Again, I would argue that point. I live in that neighborhood.
So do I.
There's four.
I live on
four
Mac Road
exits.
with a lot of pedestrians and we have nonstop traffic. So it's not uncommon in the city of Wasilla to have streets where people walk with heavy traffic and no sidewalks. If the city wants to build a sidewalk, the city owns the road, and I think asking a private business to build a public sidewalk, would it be fair to ask you to build a sidewalk for the entire length of your street?
Well, I'm not asking to put a business in
Okay.
that's gonna have a liquor store and all the other things.
Okay.
I'm not on a school zone.
Okay.
Can you speak to that?
Are we allowed to address any of your concerns?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you back up here, so we're just having a discussion amongst ourselves.
Question.
Commissioner
To
Brown,
the
go ahead.
planner, acting planner, do you know whether Public Works have addressed any of these concerns or have any plan to put a sidewalk or anything in?
Yes, to Commissioner Brown through the chair. Public Works is aware that on the, let's see, it'd be the south end of West Nelson Avenue, there is going to be an additional sidewalk constructed there through the MPO is where the funding is coming. And we can also put that as a condition for Public Works to review as part of the conditional use conditions of satisfaction. But we do know that that has been a concern, and Public Works has assured us that there will be a pedestrian sidewalk on that south end of West Nelson.
Additional question.
Nelson or Nicola?
Yeah.
Nicola, sorry. Nope, hold on here. Let's take a break for a minute. 5-minute recess.
Do a 5-minute recess.
Okay, 1 second. Give me just a second.
They have.
Nelson's over here is bonded up where we live.
Testing everybody's microphones. Good, good. Okay.
We are back on the record for quasi-judicial hearing for permit, conditional use permit 2604. We need to disclose a conversation at the planner's table. Would you please
Yeah,
state your
I'll-
questions again for the record?
My discussion with the planner, quasi-attorney, a little bit, is not having the liquor store as part of this package. That needs to be addressed. My concern is the driveway coming off of Nicola, and I understand that that is required or needed for emergency, fire trucks, police, whatever. So that was our discussion, and she suggested possibly postponing this until we get that information.
Can I address that, Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, to Commissioner Langell, thank you for those concerns and questions. Traffic, it continues to be a question for most development within Wasilla, especially how dense it's getting. I'm going to refer to our contract planner for that specific question because she's done a lot of work with DOT. She's done a lot of work with driveways and the necessity behind it. So I'll let her speak on that. As far as a liquor license and the potential part of their business plan to have a liquor license, there is a pretty robust process that AMCO requires. It does a lot of public notification. It does a lot of evaluation. We can get that information and or they can share that information where they are in the process of applying for a liquor license, or maybe you have a liquor license and what that would entail. Have them give us more information at maybe the next meeting when we discuss some of the traffic information. But Stephanie, do you want to speak about the traffic in the driveway on Nicola?
Thank you, Acting City Planner Nygaard. Yes, I'd be happy to just continue on with some thoughts. Given the interest in trying to find out potentially how this new development might contribute, I think it would also be important to understand the existing conditions and the existing traffic on the street, and that might help the commission have an informed decision on considering whether any additional improvements are merited or whose responsibility that might be. I would recommend or that the commission consider postponing even just one meeting. That would give the staff an opportunity to get together with the Public Works Department, but also get together with the applicant and discuss these further and try to get some additional information for the commissioners as part of your decision-making process. I'll also just briefly note, we didn't note I believe the liquor was on the site plan, but we didn't note it in the staff report because as far as I can tell, your zoning code doesn't differentiate any uses based on whether they will or will not supply liquor. So the conditional use permit process, the use itself, how it was treated, I didn't see that term even used in your code other than, I believe, as Ms. Nygaard mentioned, the standard liquor license process that potentially goes to the city council. So that's why it wasn't referenced here in the staff report. Thank you.
We have a motion and an amendment to the motion. Do I want to make another motion to postpone?
Well, we either need to have motion pulled by the motion's original sponsor,
Amendment first.
or we can deal with the amendment first.
I did the amendment, so I'll pull it back.
All right. Now I need a motion to postpone till next meeting. Oh,
No, he's the main
oh,
motion.
that's right. Address the main motion.
So if we wanted to postpone, that would be me withdrawing my motion, or would that be an amendment to the main motion?
And I'm hoping that I'm trying to pull all of my Robert's Rules of Order knowledge right now. But I, presuming that withdrawing a amendment and then withdrawing a motion is the proper way forward, you would just withdraw your motion. You're removing that motion from consideration. The commission can decide what it wants to do regarding postponement, if there's a motion to postpone the hearing or not. And then if you choose, you can restate your motion, you can make the motion again as well. So it doesn't necessarily commit you to vote for or against a motion for postponement. But it does remove that motion for approval.
So as.
The other option is just to go through the motion with the amendment and go through the process, and it lands where it lands. I mean, that's one.
So
That's
is-
one option, but that creates complications only
Yeah.
in that we have only sort of one motion practice for making that decision, for getting to that final decision in that direction for the preparation of your written decision. So it doesn't mean we can't change that. It's quasi-judicial, doesn't have the same parameters or formalities of legislative, but.
So at this point, the way I see it, she has pulled her amendment.
Yes.
If you
Can
pull,
I-
just hang on just a minute, because where we are right now, after that clarification from the attorney, you've pulled your amendments. Are you going to withdraw your motion?
Or can I amend?
I think
the
I'd like
motion?
to let my motion stand. And of course, that does mean any member of this body can propose an amendment.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to let my proposal stand.
Okay, so
Through the
now you
chair.
can restate your amendment, and then we can decide on that.
Okay, I move to postpone action on this permit until the next meeting so that we can get further information as far as ADEC, liquor store, and sidewalks.
So I think now we have two competing motions
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to an amendment. So because he did not withdraw his motion, you can withdraw your amendment and the motion just goes forward without amendment. Or you could decide that you would like to, you can either, vote up or down the motion, or you can move to amend his motion to approve the conditional use permit and direct the administration to prepare a written decision reflecting your findings. So that's what stands roughly. That's not the exact language, but it's close. And so the question is, do you want to amend that motion? Do you want to discuss that motion? I think was it Commissioner DeYoung that seconded that motion? Who seconded that?
I seconded it with conditions.
Seconded, and that's the other one. So you want to second the motion, and then as Commissioner Landshill did, you want to then make motions to amend it. So seconding a motion doesn't reflect, support or a lack of support for a motion necessarily. You're just allowing it to be brought. So at that point, if you second it, you can then, now the motion's on the floor, and then all of the commissioners, including yourself, can say, I would like to amend that motion, as Commissioner Landshill did, and that's where you would lay out your conditions. When you said second with conditions, that's where you'd give us your conditions
But
for.
no postponement.
Well, this is the motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the
So
floor
this
we
is the
have
way
to
that we
deal
all
with
go
first.
around it. Now, one of the things this is one of those unique things, we are using Robert's Rules of Order. We are using a motion practice. You are sitting in a quasi-judicial hearing, which means you're making decisions regarding the rights and access of an individual. So what is most important is not Robert's rules and it's not your motions, right? It's getting to where this commission wants to get in order to get to the answer that it believes is the right one for this permit. So as we go through this, if it gets too messy, I like this. This is a good practice that it gives us a way to communicate what each of you want to do. If it gets too messy, we're gonna strip away the motion practice and we're gonna start talking about what we want to see and where that leaves people. But right now, you have a motion on the floor, and so I think this is an opportunity for the commission to discuss that motion or amend that motion, and that creates You know, I think that's probably the easiest way forward right now, so long as we can get there. So the question, when you say no postponement, I think we want to deal with this motion first.
Correct.
You know, so you might want to make a motion to amend this motion, and I was wondering if there's a way to do that where you subject it to, you can subject it to conditions, like so long as the traffic report shows X, Y, or Z, or you can say, I'm not ready to adopt this motion, you know, and vote the motion down. That's the other option.
So through the chair, I want to retract my amendment, right? I guess, and say, I'm not ready to, I mean, without conditions, I'm not ready to vote on this.
Well, and you can do conditions. You just seconded the motion, so now you can say, and I would like to amend that motion to add the following conditions.
Okay, I would
And
like to
then-
amend that motion to add the
Okay.
following conditions, which would be a sidewalk, a road report, and where they are in the process of a liquor store.
So when you say, let me work through those conditions with you, just so I understand them. So when you say sidewalk, is there a specified area? Are you requesting a sidewalk for the length of their property?
Well,
Or-
yeah, and then, I mean, if you put a sidewalk through the length of their property, then the city would probably have to pick up to Lucas. On this paper right here, it's not that long of a stretch, and it goes over, you know, Rochelle's right there too. So, I mean, I don't know why there wasn't a sidewalk there prior. But.
So that's the thing, we can't really, so what we cannot do is put a condition on them that they cannot fulfill, that they don't have authority to fulfill. So they don't have authority to fulfill that part of the sidewalk. They do, you can make it a condition that they construct a sidewalk on their property and coordinate with
The city.
to request continuation of that sidewalk. That means it may not get built, but that means the applicant is taking a proactive step to
Well,
get as
at least
far
we're
as
taking
along.
in what the public wants, plus, you know, implementing safety. So,
And again, that what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we're gonna take the proactive step of reaching out to the city,
Yep.
agreeing to construct a sidewalk on our property and requesting that sidewalk get
because
continued.
it's my understanding, the planner, you just said that you were putting in a sidewalk anyway, right? But you said Nelson, so I just wanted clarification on that.
Yeah, and so I want to confirm with Public Works,
Okay.
there's a number of pedestrian upgrades that are happening in the city through our MPO, which is a brand new funded program. So I will get that list, share that list with the council, just to ensure that we have that covered. But she is correct in saying that if that's a specification of them putting in sidewalk, we would have to connect it and we'd have to look at that cost.
So with these conditions, as we work through these conditions, we may take a moment in order to construct those conditions, both with acting planner Nygaard and Ms. Clean, so that we can make sure that we are being specific about where that sidewalk would be located, and then it would simply refer. So it would be something like construction of sidewalk on applicant's property at, and then it would be whatever road that is. And then, and applicant agrees to request that the city continue that sidewalk to. And then-
I don't think it's unreasonable. Developers and subdivisions and they have to do that all the time, so I don't think it's unreasonable.
It is certainly lawful. Like, I don't think there's any problem with that condition. We just have to get the language clear enough that it is clear enough to follow, that they can follow it and it's within their authority. Okay, next one was report. I think there was a traffic report.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get a traffic report on the road.
Yeah, it would be a traffic
DOT.
impact analysis. Yeah, the most current one by DOT. We have some of our tools that we use as well to see what those thresholds are.
So when you say a traffic impact analysis, is the condition that they complete or that DOT approves What is happening with the traffic impact?
Stephanie, are you still online?
DOT's already approved it.
Yeah, because I think DOT's.
Yes, I am, Ms. Nygaard.
Yeah, what's been your experience with DOT's data on their current TIAs around the Matsu?
So I'm going to have to defer. I don't have direct experience to know when they most recently provided that information. And so in order to give you my best advice, I would want to have time to reach out to DOT, see what they might have for data that's currently available, and as well as connect with the applicant. And it sounds like they're at the beginning of this process. I can tell you a TIA can be a small effort, or it could be a hundreds of thousands of dollars effort. So it varies pretty widely. It would be important, I think, to understand what data is available from the sources we can access already, because it might be that there is enough information to help answer some of the questions that we have, but I would just need some time to go back and research that and bring that back to the commission.
Can we make some comments or answer some questions?
Well, as they get through this, there is a process where they will come back to you, but you need to allow them to engage in this process.
We're in the middle of a mess. We'll be right with you.
And just for clarification, is the traffic analysis for the Parks Highway or for Nicola?
Nicola.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page there.
Yep.
So, and then, so you're requiring the completion of a traffic impact analysis. for Nicole.
Now I think we better put a monetary cap on that. I don't want it to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's a little much.
I don't know that we get to set the
I
price.
know.
Did the applicant-
Can't we just get what they have currently? I mean, we don't have to jump through all the hoops. I just want to know, Stephanie, I just want to know what they have.
I believe the applicant said there was a traffic analysis in progress. That's the note I have written at the top of my paper. I see nodding heads.
Yeah, that's-
So they're already in the process of doing
That's
that.
why I'm wondering why we
If you can just let us finish going through this, then they will call you back up to answer their questions. All we're doing is defining where those questions lie, right? You didn't know that there were questions you wanted to answer until she expressed her traffic
Exactly.
impact analysis, right? So I know it's messy and it's a lot of sausage, but this is the commission working to get this done. So
Mr. Chair,
can I just, we had one more condition and I would love to get through that one, because that one was the one I
I'd like to
understood the
get
least.
Mr. Brown's opinion as soon as that's done.
Oh, yes, perfect. I just want to get these out so we're maintaining some, otherwise I will lose track of where I was as well. So Commissioner DeYoung,
What?
there was one more. It was
The liquor
sidewalk
store, where they are in that process, since it wasn't in our paperwork.
Okay, so
And
more
then,
specifically, because you had said liquor store before, so you would like more details regarding the.
well,
liquor
it wasn't in
store?
here. It wasn't part of my consideration because I thought, oh, good, finally something without a liquor store. Because they're on every corner along with weed. It's ridiculous. But here we are, they're just gonna have liquor.
It's illegal.
I understand that, but you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's, okay,
I mean, there's a liquor store right up the street, their other store, up, at the top of church. So why do we need another one?
so, but they're telling you now there is a liquor store.
Yes.
So what are we asking for the?
It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't care. Take that condition off.
Take that one off.
Yep.
Okay, I'm taking that one off.
And then the other one would be that, the report.
ADC, compliance with ADC.
I don't even think you can have a gas station without
Which
that.
again,
but I don't
one
know.
thing to note, I'm just gonna, I'm putting the compliance with ADC. But Ms. Queen did discuss that compliance with other federal regulations and statutes that
Well,
are.
I don't think you can
that
put a
are
tank in
required
without that.
anyway. We generally keep those separate, but it doesn't mean you can't, so I'm putting it on there. Commissioner Brown, through the chair, I apologize, we have our conditions, so now we have our motion to amend and we have our conditions. I'll give these to the planning clerk.
I have comments.
yes, I forgot most of them by now.
no.
Second the motion
Um,
to amend.
Two things. If you listen to the testimony, he's already in the process of requesting the report for the storage tanks. That's in the process. The liquor store, the liquor licenses are much more in-depth to the state of Alaska than anything Wasilla could ever do.
I get that. They know the hoops to jump. Don't sugarcoat.
Yeah.
They'll get it. It doesn't matter.
And listen to his report, and it was compared to the last one we approved. The last one, my understanding was they volunteered to help out, but to put a sidewalk in, you in the right of way of the borough, the city, or the state, and it requires for us, the city works to be part of that process. They just can't put a sidewalk on public access property because they want to put a sidewalk in. So for us to tell them they have to put a sidewalk in, they would be encroaching on
We
public
just went
access.
through that. They're gonna request. They're not being directed or told to do it. We're requesting that they partner with the city.
There- there's a-
If
there's-
possible.
And there's another avenue that's new, and that's the MPO.
Right.
This street has been recognized as needing upgrades, and so it's in a prioritized way than some of the other
And that's the point I was
streets.
gonna make, Mr. Chair, is if we're concerned about sidewalks, that should be a separate issue. We propose to Public Works from the Planning Commission that they address that on that street, not put that onus on the owner of this property, and he can't move forward until that's done. We should be going to Public Works and saying we need
That's
sidewalks
what we
there.
said. I think after we amended it, I don't think that's what we said. We asked them to work in partner with the city. The city might say, go to hell. I don't know.
Well, and I think make sure, I would just say to planning clerk, because I think my language might have been more
Directive.
placing, more directive on their property. So I would just say in general that they would, contact the city to work with the city for the installation
Well, I
of
thought that's what you said.
sidewalk on property, including their property, and the request that it continue for that length of, and then that we would need technical.
Through the chair to the attorney.
But, and,
So if we tell them to work with the city, what if the city works don't reply back to them for 6 months?
oh, I know, the condition you're placing on them is a significant one. I'm
Right.
not saying that it is not.
I'll happily
I
go
am-
sit in the Public Works Department. They can't ignore them for 6 months. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think you could say you could make the condition that you request the installation of a sidewalk. That certainly,
Yes.
there's almost no onus on
There we
the
go.
applicant. So if that, the other thing, it would be after the commissioners have comments, I mean, at this stage, now that you have that amendment, it is completely appropriate to call the applicant up if you have questions or you want to give them an opportunity to talk on some of these issues.
Mr. Chair, can I second the amended motion?
I mean, can they come up? It's
Yeah.
about time for them to be able to talk.
Okay, I'll answer what I can, but I know who can answer what I can't answer, so shoot. Or I can start. One thing, the liquor license, just to clarify, it's not a new liquor license, existing Matsu Borough one. So it's not adding any more to the borough. It will be new to the city, but it's not adding any more to the overall area. Right now we have it, it's in Big Lake, trying to move it into the city. So that answers that one. Sidewalk, sounds a little over my head. We're more than happy to work with the city, do what we can on our property. I feel that's all we can do. Put a sidewalk in there. We absolutely think that's a good thing. And all for that, and we'll do what we can to help push that through, bug the city as much as we can to make it happen. Your question with the DEC, I might ask maybe Randy could clarify a little bit on what we already have to go through with the DEC before we can turn on a fuel tank, because it's like, we're not turning on a fuel tank without a lot of
Yes.
DEC oversight. So if you want to know more about that, I'm sure he could clarify on that. Traffic stuff, Dan or Scott, I'm sure can answer more on where the TIA is and what it's going to entail. So.
I would just like to add one thing. So if you have a license in the borough, we are only allowed 3 transfers every 10 years.
Correct.
So you have already contacted the finance, Maureen, and so you have the opportunity to transfer that into the city? Because there's only one space available right now.
That's correct.
Okay.
So as far as what AMCO told me when I dropped the license off 3 months ago, that was what they said. There's one spot left.
Correct.
So whether or not there's other ones in that pile, they didn't think that there were, of ones that were trying to transfer in ahead of ours. When I dropped it off May 15th, There was, I don't know how many ahead of us. I checked with their progress on June 15th. They said there was 29 in the stack ahead of us. July 15th, there was still 23. So it's a slow
We'll
process.
check with our licensing department because they always have a good pulse on that. But just to demonstrate that the licensing side of liquor stores is really pretty onerous on developments like this. And so we'll want to make sure that that's eligible to get transferred in. We'll talk to Maureen about it. She's at, does our licensing.
Okay.
Through the chair to staff, whoever. What would be the normal process to get approval for a liquor store within the city boundaries? And was that followed for this?
Yeah, so when they apply with AMCO notifies us that there's going to be a transfer, and legislatively, we have to take it to council to get approval to allow that transfer to happen for that specific location.
So that would go to council.
That would go to council for approval.
Mr. Chair, if I may, Madam City Attorney, please correct me if I can't ask this to the applicant. If the state, because they're the ones going to make the decision, denies the liquor licensing. So if the liquor license doesn't happen, would you still be building this project?
Most likely at this point, I mean, we're ready to break ground here within the next month or two. And just with the feedback I'm getting from AMCO, like processing 4 to 5 applications a month, I mean, we might not even be able to be open with the liquor store, even if you guys approve it. They might not even have transferred it by next summer when we want to be open. So I think as of right now, yes, we're still going to process it and or proceed forward with the project. And if the liquor license falls through, then we'll decide what to do with the space that we set aside for the liquor store.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chair Seals, to address your Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation, in 2026, we have some of the toughest standards for fuel storage and fuel tanks in the nation. So their liability is covered by what they do, and it's extensive.
So if you are telling me that that's going to happen, we don't need a motion, we don't need it as part of a condition, that's just part of the process of getting this built. I'm fine with that. I just want it covered.
That's my take on it, and I would try and assure you that that is what the process is, because I'm very familiar with the construction of fuel tanks and storage tanks, and DEC has got our backs making sure that the environment is covered.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
Commissioner Brown, he said he had someone in the audience who was more of an expert on the TIA and the DEC rules.
Yep.
Could we have them come up and talk about those two things?
Sure, that would be
a bone of
great.
contention.
I can do the DEC stuff. Randy with Prism Design Construction, the contractor. That's what we do, put in fuel systems. You have to apply ahead of time. You have to submit an application, just like any of these things. And then as it's getting closer to completion, we have to turn in all the test records of everything being tested as it's being installed. They give us authority to put fuel in the tank, and then we have to do another round of testing with the product in the tank before they can actually sell fuel. And then the owners also have to have a financial responsibility before we can even get that. So it's a very big process. Today's regulations, you just about inspect your site annually. Then every 3 years, there's a huge complete inspection that we go around and do to every single station in the state of Alaska. And there's a lot of them. So every tank gets tested. They're all double wall. It's all double wall system. It's not like it was back in the 70s and 60s and 80s. You could do a lot of the cool things. Now you can't. So we haven't quite gone as far as California has gone, but we are definitely covering all of the requirements from the EPA level to the DEC level. So all that has to be in place before we can do anything. That's what I got for that.
Thank you. Oh, would you do me one favor before you leave? Would you state your name for the record?
Randy Hunter.
And would you Yeah.
Set it down, please.
And then we could have the TIA guy come up.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask next.
Thanks, Dan.
He's been dying to get up here. Let him talk.
Welcome, sir. When you get a chance, write your contact information and state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dan Steiner. I'm a civil engineer for the project. Okay, regarding the TIA, I am not performing the TIA. I'm not a traffic engineer. Kittleson and Associates has been hired to do the TIA. They're in the process of doing that right now. I wanted to point out a couple of things. When you guys were talking about the TIA, you said, well, we wanted the TIA to address this street or this street. The TIA addresses the site. And it includes the streets that are adjacent to it, but it's not looking at just, for instance, Nicola Avenue. And there are things that are out of our control. Like someone mentioned that, everybody drives really fast on that. That's nothing that we can control. That's an enforcement issue. And we want people to drive slowly and safely. So the TIA will look at the impact that it has on those roads from our site, but it doesn't look at like, hey, this road needs these kind of improvements and these kind of improvements, unless they're associated with additional traffic that we generate. So sometimes the TIA will say, hey, the level of service for these streets based on what the increase in traffic are still acceptable. And of course, as a developer, we always hope it says that. But it also may come up back with say, the following are off-site improvements, things that are off our site that need to be addressed. Just one thing I want you to, a couple of things. When you consider is like, hey, put a sidewalk in, that is not a simple consideration. So, if you put a sidewalk in, does that mean you're also going to put in curb and gutter? And if you put in curb and gutter, that's going to impact the existing drainage because right now everything's served by roadside ditches. If you put in curb and gutter, that's no longer an issue. So if you put in curb and gutter and that upsets the drainage issues, then are we having to put in a pipe storm system? And if we do that, then where does it daylight? So there's a lot of things that go into, hey, just throw a sidewalk in there. It's not as simple as a lot of people might think it is. So please keep that in mind when you require people to do certain things. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to do, but I forgot to write it down or address. I would ask you not to require us to have DOT approval before they can proceed. Maybe you say, please be working on that. And the reason I ask that is within about the last year and a half, the Federal Highway Department has come and said anything that is now trying to get access on the intrastate highway system also has to get approval at a federal level. And the Parks Highway is part of that intrastate highway. And so because that's very new, DOT does not have a lot of experience with that. They said that they've had one application that has gone through and it took 6 months. So, I mean, to say, hey, you can't do anything until DOT gives you final approval could delay this over half a year. To say, you can proceed at your own risk, you're working through this process, would be something that I would hope that we could have. Because they would take some risk deciding to build before they get DOT approval for the driveway. I think there's a really low chance that won't get approved. But still, like I said, to make us wait, I mean, we would be out of this construction season. We wouldn't be able to start anything until next year if that was a requirement. So, do you have any questions or comments for me?
Commissioner Brown, and to clarify, if you built this in March of next year, federal DOT says no, you'd be out of a lot of money with no business.
Correct. Well, it wouldn't be me, but yeah. I mean you talked about, developers do this all the time. I don't think people understand developers take significant risk in doing this. I mean, the rewards can be quite substantial, but it can also be devastating. So, I did want to talk about one other thing. One of the comments said that we had to get City of Wasilla approval for for sewer and water. There is no city sewer there, so we'll be putting in a septic system. So hopefully that's understandable that we can't get approval for the sewer from the city because there isn't any. And this septic system does not require pre-approval from DEC to construct it. So we'll design it, we'll install it per the regulations, and then when we're done, we submit what's called a documentation of construction. There's no other approval from DEC that we need for this.
There's no inspection?
I do the inspections, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a licensed civil engineer, so that's on me. But we just, they changed the regulations 3 or 4 years ago. For commercial applications, you used to have to get pre-approval to construct and then approval to operate. And now, if you're under 2,500 gallons a day, which we will be under that by quite a ways, it's similar to what we do for residential septic systems.
I have a question for the acting planner. Is city water available there?
Yes, and that's stated in the review. We do have city water.
I thought I'd
They'll
seen it in
connect.
there, but I just thought you were.
And that's part of the design and the plan right now is to connect to city water.
Yeah. Is there any other questions from the commission?
Just to clarify, when we're talking septic produce, you're talking what, a couple bathrooms and maybe an employee hand washing sink in the back?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so we're not
gas
we're not
stations
talking
do
a car wash or.
no, correct.
Yeah.
No car
So we're
washes.
probably less than what a house would produce.
You never know.
That's true.
Some depending on where you're at, some gas stations get used a lot.
That's true. Yeah.
There is also going to be an RV dump, but where you are, RV dumps are not allowed to go into septic systems anymore. So they'll have a holding tank. So it'll just be pumped out when it's full.
Okay,
Any
I'm
other-
lost.
So if you don't have any more questions for the applicant, then you can return to, you have a motion on the floor with an amendment. There are 3 amendments. I think it might be worthwhile if Commissioner DeYoung would like to do so. I feel like some of those amendments got a little bit changed, and I think one got removed, the DEC.
Yeah.
So I think we should walk through those amendments again.
That's what I think.
And while I think Robert's rules would have us back some things out, we're just going to walk through them and identify. So your amendments. So far we have a motion for, well, first do you have any further questions for the applicant?
I do have one comment. On if you require an amendment regarding traffic, maybe again, because of how long it takes to get approval, if you could just say complete a traffic impact analysis and follow the recommendations. That'd be nice, I think, for everybody.
Thank you. No further questions for this gentleman? Thank you very much.
So if we're back to that motion to amend, I think that, I gave away my notes, but the first one was.
I think the DEC one has been resolved.
Yeah, that's been removed.
And how do you
was
feel
answered.
about complete a TIA?
Yeah, I don't remember saying it had to be done before they opened.
That's complete a TIA.
So,
So that's, yeah, they just need to do one.
and I think they've mentioned several times that they have one in process.
Right.
So,
So I think that's
What we just said, it needs to be completed. It doesn't have to be done before they open. I don't remember ever saying that.
so we can drop that
I
one.
think you're still contact city public works.
Yeah. About a sidewalk.
Well, we'd need to know more about what the MPO is going to do to that street and the
That'd be nice.
time frame.
I think all you're asking for in that condition is them to request You're asking them to request a sidewalk from Public Works. That's where that one landed. So you're really putting very little on. If Public Works can say no, Public Works can say a lot of things.
Well, and-
it's
Well,
just
they
a
can address the,
And that'll be addressed in the MPO project
That's what
as
I'm
well,
thinking.
so.
That's fine too. So it's up to you if you want to keep that one or not.
I think we should keep it, but I think we should find out. I would just like to explore that.
I think this is.
If we don't, it will get dropped.
Okay, so this is the two things. So we have a motion to approve this on the
Yes.
floor, subject to these conditions, which means our exploration will end. We can, the condition can include some sort of correspondence with, but once if your motion to approve, subject to the conditions passes, there'll be no further investigatory or hearing component, I guess. That's why I want to make sure these are conditions that are enforceable, that they can follow, that are within their authority and ours, and that they reflect what that we get them to the point where they reflect what you really want to see.
And it falls in the same purview as they need a certificate of occupancy from the fire marshal. They don't have it today because they don't have it built.
Right, so you're just requiring that to happen, but that's obviously.
Well, that's gotta happen.
You don't have to.
Yeah, well, it's an example.
Yeah, it's in here.
So
Yeah,
this-
I know I used it as an example only. So this condition will be met, but they can move forward.
Yeah.
So are there so I have now on the conditions complete. The PIA, contact City Public Works requesting a sidewalk. Anything else? Okay, so that is your motion as it stands, as amended. And then now I think you can take discussion on the motion as amended and decide, and commissioners can decide if they want to.
Is there a discussion amongst the commission? Go ahead.
I'd like to start if I could. Valley Country Store this is what, your fifth location? I visit their locations just to and from work. They're always spotless. Their staff is always incredibly courteous, where other gas stations, you appear to be a nuisance that they're not having the store. Their facilities are always clean inside and out. And right now that empty gravel lot is generating exactly $0 of tax revenue every day. And I'd like to see that change for the benefit of the city, for the tax revenue. So, that's kind of how we exist. So those are my thoughts. Those are what I'm going to be basing my vote on. Is that appropriate to say, ma'am?
I think so long as you also mean all of the criteria that we reviewed.
Yeah, all the criteria has been met according to the staff report and according to the testimony of the owner and his team.
Commissioner Lanchell, I do have one request, or just from the applicant, when you're talking to Public Works, can you also see if there's potential for Public Works, since you're building this, to put better signage on Nicola? I still can't quite figure out how that's going to work out, that driveway.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Well, they're gonna have a driveway off of Nicola. That's going to increase traffic on Nicola.
But what kind of signage? Just curious. I don't.
Are you talking like a stop
limit
sign at
sign.
the
Like
head
a
of their driveway?
Children at play, whatever, just safety signage.
Well, if people don't slow down for the school, I don't know what they're gonna do. I think we need a sidewalk.
I think there's a speed limit sign several places on that
is.
road. So
I guess you could put in speed bumps, but I'm not gonna make that a condition. I'll be
No,
stoned.
so we have become not rural anymore. We are
We're
now
not.
urban. So we have this MPO that goes around the valley and improves roads for pedestrian and traffic. And this particular road is on their list. And this is the very beginning. So it's not at the bottom of a list that was started years ago.
So we don't know what's in that package at this point, but Nicola is on it. and it will be improved if everything falls into place.
That's what it
good.
sounds like.
Mr. Chairman, again, I think this discussion is beyond what was before us tonight, that we need to have a separate meeting with Public Works to talk about, not only this street, but other streets in the MPO.
Yeah.
And to put forth our wishes and desires to improve safety on side streets and stuff. But I don't think we should hold them to our discussion on that.
And I second that.
Yep, that's fine.
So now,
I'll call for the question.
yep, it's time for a roll call vote on the motion on the floor.
I think I got this.
Thank goodness I'm sitting next to you.
Commissioner Stafford,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals.
Yes.
The motion to amend the main motion to approve the staff findings with the conditions of approval to approve conditional use permit 26-04 with the added conditions to complete the traffic impact analysis with DOT and contact the City Public Works Department about the feasibility of adding in a sidewalk on Nicola is approved.
That's why we pay her.
Thank you.
So now we're back to the main motion and the roll call vote, or did we already go through that?
Well, I think
There was the amended motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amendment.
it seemed, I suspect that some of you thought that was not just on the amendment, but on the motion, but so you should go through it again. And
That's,
rectify
I
it.
just want it clear on the record. So,
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
Robert rules require you to do the amendments and then vote on the main motion.
I can do that. Commissioner Stafford,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals.
yes,
The motion to direct the planner to draft a written decision reflecting the commission's findings for the commission's approval, which are the staff findings and conditions recommended to approve this conditional use permit 26-04 is approved.
Perfect.
see, we got there. And I do believe that,
You don't get to leave.
no,
You're not allowed to leave. We're gonna.
You can't leave if we can't leave.
I do have more work.
and I want to take this moment to address the one person that came in
Yeah.
to talk about Nicola Street and the traffic. I can assure you that this MPO is going to improve that street immensely.
Can I speak?
Sure.
But there was a lot of if in there. That's fantastic, and if they do, thank you, that will be wonderful, but I'm not hearing anything from any of you all saying, yes, this is gonna happen, they're gonna put a sidewalk.
I tried.
I know you did,
I
and I
don't-
appreciate that.
I don't know it's within our capacity to promise a sidewalk.
Yeah,
We
no.
can't promise.
I think city council, which has the power of the purse, that's gonna have, because it's gotta get paid for. So I think I would encourage you to come to the next city council meeting and during the public comments, address our city councilors and make sure that they hear it as well. A lot of them listen to this meeting, but having someone in front of them, I think, will have the biggest impact.
Well,
Happy to do that, really happy to do that. I'm just saying though, with government, a lot of times you cannot make promises, right? So in the meantime, 2 to 5 years, and like I said, I appreciate progress. I appreciate your point about the tax base. I appreciate all that. This is a residential area and there are children and there are high school kids there, and that second access and the traffic, they already use that to get off the parks as a shortcut. With the exclusion of DeYoung and Commissioner DeYoung and Langhill, I'm not sure if I said it correctly, the rest of you aren't going to be impacted by this. You don't live on that street, and I'm telling you, it's a nightmare and somebody's going to really get hurt. So I will happily come to the next meeting.
If you can, bring
Well-
neighbors.
Happily.
That always has an impact.
I just want y'all to know that I am really concerned for safety.
Acting Planner Nygaard, I think if you could give her the contact information for the MPO, she may be able to get more information from the MPO, be it people than we can give.
That would be great.
Thank you, Chair. We will follow up with her and then direct her to that site that has all the information for those current projects and then how to request a future project. Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming in and expressing your concern tonight. It is very valuable that we have members of the public come and give their 2 cents on these projects. And we appreciate the great job you guys did tonight of presenting this. I'm very familiar with Valley Country Stores.
I think we all are.
And I think this is a great way to help the city build revenue to move forward with infrastructure.
Pay for the sidewalks.
Yeah, pay for the sidewalks. Well, we might get some federal money for that too.
Yeah, we might.
So I can't remember the whole presentation that the MPO put forward, but it's a radical change going from rural to urban. So hold on to your seats because you're gonna get bike paths, you're gonna get bus routes.
And I don't want them. I don't want bike paths. I don't want sidewalks.
Well, I'm just saying, with
Sugar still on sidewalk.
the future is here. And we may not all like it.
I don't like it.
Well, you can move to Telkeet.
Thank you. Thank you. We are now at
Thank you.
unfinished business. We move on to communications because we have no unfinished business. Would the planning clerk please read the items for approval under the communications into the record?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Under communications, we have permits and licenses issued July 8th through July 21st, 2026. And then we also have code compliance activity from July 8th through July 21st, 2026, and the July 20th Matsu Borough Planning Commission agenda.
Thank you. We now move to audience comments. We are now at audience comments, a time for members of the public to share their views with the commission. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration or issues raised may be taken into advisement by the commission or administration. Is there anyone present who would like to address the commission?
She's like, not on your life.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure she didn't feel like chopped liver.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So with no one wishing to speak, we now move to staff, attorney, and commission comments. Does the acting city planner have any comments this evening?
No comments.
Does the city attorney have any comments this evening?
No comment.
Commissioner Brown, do you have any comments?
Oh, probably shouldn't, but thanks to the attorney for her help. And I hear all the concerns that other commissioners had, but I think we need to be more familiar with how the liquor license work, how TIAs work, and how DEC work. And we can never put on the restriction that those three entities put on up in this. So I think a lot of discussion we had was interesting discussion, but we could never reach the level they're gonna have to meet for those agencies. And I think it'd be a good thing for the citizens also to learn more about how this work and stuff. We can't demand certain rules on gas pumps and storage tanks and access ways to the main highway. That's all out of our purview. So thanks to the attorney leading us down that path of rough ride we went through for an hour here.
Commissioner DeYoung, do you have any comments?
Lots, but I'll just be quiet.
Commissioner Langell, do you have any comments this evening?
I'd just like to say that it is part of what this commission is supposed to consider, is how this city is growing and how these changes are going to affect the structures within this city. So yes, some of us may not be familiar with gas tanks, but to me, it should have been part of the permit, just saying it will be done. That's all. That's the only reason I brought it up. It was not in here saying it will be done properly.
And then I appreciate his honesty because he said he's already got pretty much the liquor license and the transfer.
Yeah.
He could have just omitted that. And so, I mean, I happen to property manage for his sister. It's a good family. I like them, but I think that was awesome. And I should have told him that, but like I said.
But it was a good meeting. I think it was a good learning process.
I think this was a good training wheels. Quasi-judicial hearing.
Well, I will make one comment. Quasi-judicial proceedings aren't good because they're clean. They're
Right.
good
Because
because
they
You ask questions.
actually, and the
Just sit
people
around and take it.
engaged feel heard, and you got through the questions. If you walk out of something and it looks beautiful, but you left a lot of things on the table, those are often the ones that get appealed and, and overturned. So unlike some of the legislative things we do, I never look for a clean quasi-judicial hearing. I do want us to do everything compliant, and you did both, so.
Yeah, they all should be as easy as the Wonderland project.
Commissioner Seals, I think this was a great learning experience. I do like the fact that it gets messy and we get confused because then we actually get to the point of what we're trying to say. I also want to state on the record that I was disappointed last night that the city council denied our rezone. That's my personal opinion, but I just wanted to state it in my comments tonight. With no further business at hand, I'm adjourning this meeting unless objection is raised. Well, we're gonna go through the hearing again.
A whole nother hour.
Any objections?
No objection.
Okay,